Guys, and welcome to another video. This is on Director's Letter 19, the new information, the first information we're getting about Season 10, which is going to be called New Age. There is some really positive stuff in here, and obviously this is not patch notes. This is just a rough idea of what we're going to be getting. We probably won't get full information, patch note stuff for another week, but right now we can look at what they're talking about, and in the end, a lot of this is very positive stuff. So let's get into it. As always, here we go. The director, Seung Siap Song, I'm probably butchering his name, came in and backtracked some stuff that had been changed differently. Changed and made things different. He backtracked some of the things that were pay to win and brought them back. And obviously that's not necessarily a positive thing. But this this director's letter is, in my opinion, really positive. Okay, we're going to go through it. So the new season is New Age, cool, and a large-scale overhaul of skills aimed at taking Undecember's combat to the next level. Now, I don't think they want to get you hyped, obviously. I don't think this is going to necessarily change how combat works, but this is going to be a step in the right direction, at least. When it came to this season, the biggest thing that people brought up right away was they did not make a single balance change to a skill. Nothing. Zero. And they didn't do any at the halfway point either. And people got mad about it. And the reason now we know is because they were spending time to upgrade a lot of them for this season. The revamped skills and builds will make familiar content feel completely fresh. Again, I think that's whatever. Offering new combat sensations and playstyles. Now, what this part is positive, there are inherently a bunch of skills in this game that are not on par with everything else. And we can go through a bunch of them. So traps, dot builds, the little minions, what are they called? Abysslings. Abysslings have always kind of lacked behind. Any of the channeled spells that aren't movement based, so flamethrower and whatnot, have all been much behind everything else. So I think this is what they're talking about. I think that's the things they're going to change. I think that's really positive. So let's start with section 1, large scale skill and link rune overhaul. This is something we've been wanting for a very long time. Again, I don't have any problem with certain skills obviously being on top. There's no way you're going to balance everything. But for 3 seasons now, it's been physical attacks, and that's been the way to go. It doesn't matter if it's a melee or a projectile. That's been the way things have worked, and hopefully with these changes we'll see a shift away from that. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind playing a physical skill, but I would love to have elemental skills and spells and stuff brought to the forefront. We attempted multiple rounds of rebalancing to highlight the appeal of overlooked skills, but realized that simple numerical adjustments have limitations. And they're completely right. If you look at a skill like flamethrower, it's not that flamethrower just does less damage than other stuff. It mechanically isn't as effective. If you look at something like icy arrow, same thing. There are a ton of skills that are not as good purely because the skill itself doesn't cover enough area, or it's too slow or whatnot. And I feel like that's what they're talking about here, because you could give flamethrower a huge amount of damage increase just on the skill itself, and it's not going to change that skill being bad. So with the 4th anniversary update, we've committed to a comprehensive skill overhaul. Revamp goes beyond number tweaks with adjustments to the fundamental mechanics and options of each skill. This is really positive, in my opinion. Obviously, this is a very good thing. This will give us, hopefully, more build diversity and more stuff to work with, as well as the fact that it's not just the skills themselves, but some link runes that have been lagging behind or just inherently bad might get used might get changed in a fundamental way to make them better. Now, obviously, because there's so many, they are going to put out a separate thing. Again, it'll probably be a week before we see any kind of update to the actual information. But there's some ones that we can generally take a look at and know that they're probably going to change those things. So I've already mentioned a couple of them, like flamethrower, things like enduring pain are just not, they don't do anything worthwhile that makes it make you want to use it. The channeled spells, so flamethrower and I forget the other things like vital strike, the enhanced skill. There's a lot of link runes and runes that are just not good. Link runes, slaughter always comes to mind that it's just bad. Like the numbers on it, even at max level, don't put it anywhere near on the level of something better. And rather than just giving that a numbers boost, they're going to change maybe how it works to give it to make crits do something different. There's a ton of link runes, obviously I can go through, but I'm not going to bother going through them. But there's a lot that just aren't effective. So section 1 here, incredibly positive. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with skills and stuff and see what kind of changes we're going to get. Number 2, darkness energy overhaul. So with the new season, darkness energy will see some major improvements. So you are no longer going to be using darkness energy to enter dungeons, which is great. If you're a high-end player, darkness energy is at a premium. I buy all, 15 million gold worth of darkness energy every day, and I burn through that. If you're a low-end player, you have darkness energy coming out your butt, and it's useless because you don't need anywhere near the amount you get. So there's this problem with darkness energy. It's been ongoing for a while. It's nice to see that they're removing it. So instead of darkness energy being used to do the maps themselves, the maps are you're just going to be able to run the maps at any level without darkness energy. And then if you want to add the extras, the things like the mist burner or the hunt for ancient enemies, you'll have special materials. Now, obviously, we'll have to see what this means because this is pretty vague as to exactly what that means. But getting rid of darkness energy is definitely a positive thing. Darkness energy has been a clutter that is unnecessary in the game for a while, so I'm happy to see it go. The drop rate of essences will be doubled as compared to before. Obviously, that's great. There's no downside. Now, this next part is the part that I've seen people already complaining about in the Discord and stuff. And I see their point, but as a solo self-found player, this is nothing but positive to me. While the system is improved, the base drop rate will not be lowered. To prevent excessive reward generation via bots and unauthorized programs, half of your essences that drop will be converted to exclusive. So that means they can only be used by you, the player. You can't sell them on the auction house. This is really good. This is going to help bring the market under control where the players that are actually trying to sell these things aren't competing with bots that are farming thousands of them all the time. And the people that do want to sell them will be able to sell half of them, and the rest you should be using on your own. Again, the people that don't like it are mad that they can't sell all of them, and that's the price we have to pay for people that cheat. If people would stop cheating, we wouldn't have to do things like this. But in the end, we're getting a double drop rate, and if you're getting double the number and half of them are not sellable, you still can sell the same amount. It's just stopping bots more than it's doing anything to anybody else. Obviously, you can have your own opinion on the topic, but I think this whole thing is very positive, in my opinion, anyway. So until the New Age season, existing darkness energy can be used. Afterward, it will be replaced with new types of materials. So that means if you have a whole bunch of it stockpiled on standard, it's going to get converted to whatever. We encourage you to use darkness energy you've accumulated before this transition. Now, if you're like me, I have a silly amount of darkness energy on standard. It's going to get converted. I don't really care. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Section number 3, the Abyss Gate stage clear rewards. From now on, first time clear rewards will be granted at each stage of the Abyss Gate. Now, this is great for the people that can actually clear Abyss Gate levels. For the rest of you, I got nothing. Abyss Gate is brutal, and from what I've read here, it doesn't seem like they're necessarily going to change the difficulty of Abyss Gate at all. So that could be an ongoing issue where people are just not going to be able to do that particular content. Hopefully, with all the new changes and stuff, more people will be able to access it, because I know on seasonal this season on North America, there's maybe a dozen of us that can beat any level of the Abyss Gate, and most of those players are I'm in 6th or something on the Abyss Gate right now. Now, obviously, there's players that are stronger than me that have quit playing in the season, but there's not a lot of us. So this isn't going to affect a lot of us, but this is a neat thing depending on what they give us and how it works. So what this means is if you beat Abyss Gate 1, the first time you beat it, you're going to be given an extra reward that is separate. We don't know what they're going to be, but hopefully they'll be decent. Rich opportunity for difficulty, blah, blah, blah. In addition, the number of gear slot upgrades for clearing the Abyss Gate stages will be increased. So right now, if you clear an Abyss Gate, you get 3 attempts to upgrade your gear slots. Now it's going to be higher than that. We don't know what it's going to be. Could be 5, could be 10, who knows? But getting more of those will be better, especially for players that are only able to clear the first few, because your percentage chance of getting an upgrade drops steadily as you upgrade them at a lower level. So the people that can only clear like Abyss Gate 1, if you got 10 attempts a day at 0.5 versus 3 attempts a day at 0.5, you're going to be able to get more gear slot upgrades out of it and not lose as much stuff to just the void. So this is a good thing in my opinion. Last one is a weird choice. I'm not entirely sure why this matters, but the map bosses, and I assume the tier 11 bosses and whatnot, are being adjusted because they have gradually felt weaker and weaker. And if you do the Abyss Gate, you know that you'll fight through the even tier 1 Abyss Gate, and the enemies are significantly stronger than the boss is. By the time you get to the boss, you're like, oh, this is a cakewalk. He's not going to be able to do anything. So they're adjusting the power on those to make them harder. I don't think it's going to make a considerable difference to the lower tier players, and I don't think it's going to make much of a difference to the higher tier players. We'll have to see exactly what it means when they give us some actual numbers on it, but I don't think it's going to be something we have to worry about. Next up is the Abyss Stone unlock conditions are eased. This is a really positive thing, and as a player who's able to do Abyss Gate but not really do much with it, I think this is really good. So the Abyss Stones were introduced and they expand build diversity, but getting the Distortion Stones, which are the teal ones, they're the holy looking ones that give you actual ways to change mechanically how your build works without having to use a unique piece. They're therefore letting you expand your output and whatnot without having to use, let's say, a lower tier unique. So something like my skill that I'm currently using is a good example. The Unleash Lightning Shot has a pair of gloves that give it an extra effect. You get an extra lightning thing, and it's really strong. You get all these extra hits, but the gloves themselves are terrible. So being able to get that on a Distortion Stone, and then I don't have to worry about using gloves, but I can still get the effect, is really cool. But getting to the jewel score to use it, which is at 1500, is very difficult. Like, I'm just short right now of being able to get it. And more importantly, you have to get to Abyss Gate 50 to even farm them. Now, I think this is a two-pronged thing that they're talking about here, with this being eased, in that the unlock conditions for the jewel score and the unlock conditions for Abyss Gate 50 are going to be dropped down. Again, we'll have to wait until we see actual notes, but that's what it looks like to me, and that's really good. That would be great for the game, to have access to these things that can fundamentally change your build without having to use a piece of gear that is not very good. To address this, we're going to ease the Abyss Stone unlock conditions, allowing more rune hunters to utilize the Abyss Stone system. Very positive. And of course, last thing is the 4th anniversary event. We don't need to really go through this. You're going to get coins, and then you're going to be able to spend those coins at a shop to get stuff. Unique gear, special attendance tickets, new costumes, and other rewards. All probably very good stuff. So there it is. Now, the other thing they put in here is a coupon code that is available for the current season, and it's going to give you, I think it's, where's the ancient selection chest ×3, so you can get holy reversions or whatever you need from those selection chests. You got to click the registration thing. I am going to put a link to this notes for the people that don't know how to get to the notes, and then you go there, you put your character, account name, or whatever, and a bunch of information, and you get free stuff. So there's the notes. Again, this is not patch notes. This is just a director's letter to get you hyped for the patch notes. A lot of this stuff, obviously, we need to see the patch notes. But I think from this that the new season is going to be really positive in that the link and skill runes getting changed is going to fundamentally change how we think about certain stuff. We're going to have to go through and do some testing and stuff, and that's always really exciting. I like being able to test stuff. We don't know if there is a new season mechanic coming out this season. If there is, they're keeping their lips shut about it, but we'll probably get more information, again, probably within a week. So for now, I hope you are excited about the new season. I know I am. Hopefully we're going to get a positive season here, because this season, some people were very upset about this season, and I think they didn't need to be as upset as they are, but I think this is good news. I think we should be excited about the new season. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Stay safe, pet cats, eat broccoli. You'll see me next time.